If you're writing psych reports that run 10, 20, or even 30 plus pages, then this video is for you. I'm going to show you the exact process that our top psychologists are using to get high quality reports that match their writing style and in just a fraction of the time that it takes to do manually. And a quick note before we dive in, this is going to be an advanced workflow. So if you're brand new to BastionGPT, you can check out our getting started video in the comments. You also need your professional plus plan for this process since we'll be working with the larger documents. So, all right, well with that, let's get right into it. You can see here, this is our main BastionGPT page. One of the things that we'll want to be doing if we're working with large documents and needing to output anything more than just a few pages at a time is basically letting the AI know that it can generate those larger documents. So we'll start by going to the upper right corner where you've got your name, and then we can go into the settings. And then what you'll notice here is this maximum words generated per response is probably going to be on the lower end. And the reason that we do this is the AI typically creates higher quality output when it's able to generate a smaller amount of text. So up to usually about 3 pages. Once it starts having to write 4, 5, 6, 7 pages at a time, the quality can decay a little bit, or the data can seem a little bit more generic and not the high quality, really dense content that we're looking for. So in that case, because we are going to be working with a little bit bigger documents, and we want the AI to know it can go a little bit longer if we want to, we're going to go ahead and adjust that up a little bit more, or in this case, I'll just go ahead and update it all the way to let the AI know, hey, if you feel compelled to, you can go and generate a really long response. To be able to generate these reports, we are going to utilize the prompt functionality. So by clicking this new prompt here, you'll be able to save it as whatever type of description that you want. You'll be able to give the instructions that you want in the script in here, and then you'll be able to attach files. So since we don't have to start from scratch, I'll go ahead and show you the templates that I went ahead and put together for you today. You'll notice we have 5 different steps for these reports. And the reason we're not doing it all at once like we would for 99% of the pieces of documentation that we typically generate is because we're needing to generate commonly reports that are going to be more than 3, 4, 5 pages. So we're going to ask the AI to generate these reports into smaller chunks. So to get a little bit better idea of what we're looking at, let's go ahead and click the edit button within our step 1 report. So here you can see we've given the AI a role, we've given it a task with some instructions, and then here we're giving it some examples of, hey, I want your first response just to include the first section of my report. So just the first few pages of the report. So the header, the reason for referral, behavioral observations, things like this. What we've included is just kind of a generic example. I'm sure the way you like to do your reports is going to be a little bit different. So you can feel free to change that up to your preferences. The language that we're using, because these AI models understand natural language, you can basically just type it in, pretending like you're speaking with another person. And so here we're giving out the instructions. If you find that over time maybe it wants to write these sections as an outline or things like that, you can always go in and edit your instructions to provide a little bit more detail. So the humans really hate to be micromanaged, or at least many of them, but the AI loves it. So as many examples as you can give, as many instructions that you can give to make sure the AI is following your instructions exactly the way you want it, the better quality that your responses are going to be. And then we've also got an example here of some advanced prompting styles where I say, only reply with the data that I requested. So oftentimes what will happen is you ask the AI, hey, I want you to generate this section of my psych report. It'll generate that section, but it might have some commentary at the top where it'll say, okay, sure, I'm happy to do that. Here you go. Now that can kind of get in the way of the copy paste, because now if you're copying and pasting that into your client management system or into a Word document, now you've got to go in and manually delete that. So what I've done here is I've said, hey, only reply with the data that I've requested. And you might notice sometimes if the AI doesn't always follow your directions, one of the things that you can do to make sure that it does it every single time is basically by telling it the same thing twice and maybe just rephrasing the words a little bit. So in case here, I did a little bit overkill just to show you for this demonstration, but I basically gave the AI the same instructions twice, and I even gave an example of what not to do. So these things help make sure the AI is really crystal clear on all the instructions that you're looking for. And then you can notice here I've also attached 2 files. So one of these is basically an outline of how I like to do my neuropsych reports. This could be an outline, it could be a template, it could be even a sample of an actual document that you like. So the AI can use that as a reference when it's generating your psych reports. And then what I've also got here is just a sample of my writing style. So that we've instructed the AI, as you can see here on the left, to use that writing style to mimic it, so it kind of knows how to sound like you. So the very first thing that we'll do, let's say we just had a session with the client. You can either copy paste your rough notes in here, or what I've got here is actually a Word document of just kind of my rough notes. So I can just click and drag, and you can see it's uploaded rough notes for my patient Alex. This is just part of his neuropsych eval. And then I'm going to go in and just click this step 1. And so here it's going to load all those instructions. So I don't have to retype that out every single time. It's also going to reattach those files so that it knows my sample writing style. It knows my outline. If I did need to change anything, this is where, maybe for a particular client, you wanted to add an additional section, or maybe there was a part that was irrelevant and that you want to cut out. This is the time where you can make those edits. Once you see everything that you've got it ready to go, you can click the submit button. And then here the AI or BastionGPT AI is going to pick the best AI model for your particular request. Since generating these psych reports are a very common use case, we have specialized AI models that we'll route to. And in most cases, it's going to utilize a model that requires a deeper analysis. So you can see right here with this pulsing light, this is telling the AI, hey, I need to spend more time, think about the data, check out what it's doing. So with BastionGPT, typically you'll get a response within a second or two. But with this deep thinking mode, it can take anywhere from 10 to 60 seconds. But an average time is probably around 20 to 30 seconds. So what you can see here is it's completed the first section of our psych report based on the instructions that you gave it in the sample format. So here you can see all of this data based on your rough notes. So what you can do here is at the very bottom of the document, we've got this copy button. So you can either copy that here, you can click and drag, and then you can, either of those two, and then you can either open up a Word document and paste it in there, or you can open up your client management system and paste that to get the first section of your report. So now we're through the hardest part. Now we're on to step 2. So let's go ahead and open that saved prompt up. And so here we said for step 2, I want you to take the WISC-5 and these other scores. I want you to generate these particular sections and calling those out here. And so what we can do, in this case, we don't need to reattach any documents because the AI already knows all of my notes, all of the overall outline that I want. So all we've got to do for the step 2 is basically just click this step 2 button here, make any edits that you might want to make. But in most cases, we can just click submit. And now it's going to go through, do its analysis and generate the second part of our report. And now it's generating the second part of our report here. You can take a look, review, make sure everything looks good. And then we can then copy and paste that again into our Word document or into our client management system. And then follow the same steps for step 3, step 4, step 5. And at the end of the day, you'll have a full and complete document, but that maximizes the quality of your output because we've now broken that down into 5 separate steps for our AI model. So if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to our customer support staff. We work with our mental health and healthcare communities on a daily basis to help make sure that their prompts are well tuned and optimized for their workflows. And yeah, any other questions, you can feel free to reach out to our team. We're looking forward to seeing you on our platform. Thank you all.